Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Uptake. I'm Paul Wilke,
And I'm Laura Metzger.
and we're thrilled to have Laura with us. Laura, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to talk today about a topic that clients talk about, but we never talk about sort of the science of what we do when we pull together a media list. Who are we trying to reach? Laura and I are thrilled to talk about today is media in general.
Yeah, I mean, a good media list is the most important ingredient of getting coverage. And I think, some people think it's an easy thing to pull together, but the media landscape is constantly changing. And, some people are on the side of go big, right? And some people are on the side of a more targeted media approach. And I think there's a place for both. But I think where we've seen the most success is each announcement, you're kind of starting from scratch on who you want to reach, depending on who's covered, announcements and like companies in the past month. A media contact that you have reached out to 3 months ago may not be relevant. And so there's never a dull moment in creating a media list. It's double checking and doing the research and making sure the same person you've reached out to in the past is still covering the topic you went to them last time with.
One thing I say to potential clients and even current clients, any PR agency can pull together a media list of 500, 2,000 names. We all have the tools to do it, but the secret is making sure they're the right reporters at the right time with the right story.
I am in the camp of a targeted 10 to 20 person media list can sometimes yield the best results, as opposed to some of these huge lists that also a lot of times it's not great for relationship building when you're sending reporters something that they may not be interested in. Yeah, I think it's about doing your own research each time. You can never get lazy with a media list and just have it living there and expect to revisit it each time for each announcement.
I think one of the great things about putting together a media list, and like you said, Laura, sometimes the smaller the list, the easier it is to reach out to those reporters, because we have an expression in the PR industry, spray and pray, and that's like, it's not a great way of reaching out to media, where you take that media list of 1,000 names and you send the same pitch to all 1,000 of them with no level of customization. If you have a smaller list, you can customize, and you can, one of the secrets to customizing a pitch to a reporter is acknowledging and recognizing that the space they operate in and the type of stories they cover.
Exactly. I feel like some of the most success is researching that one reporter and saying, hey, XYZ, I read your article last week on X, and I wanted to reach out about this news, as I thought it was a great follow-up to the story you just wrote. Right there, they know, wow, this person follows what I'm writing about and is actually bringing something to my attention that I care about and is helpful for my reporting. That's kind of the way we show our relevance, and that we're not just there to fill their inbox, and we're not really caring what their craft is at the end of the day. Reporters are passionate about what they're covering. And it's like the same as you receiving, some junk mail from a retailer you would never buy something from. At least get the targeted ads right, about something we would want to buy. And it's the same with reporters. It's more of a give and take. We want to be a resource for them and show them, hey, we've got this amazing client with this important news that's relevant to you for these reasons. And it's great when that research ahead of time for the list kind of is fruitful, and the reporter is grateful for you and for what you're bringing to them.
Yeah, and I think one of the things to keep in mind at the heart of media outreach and understanding reporters, that's really the secret to successful media outreach, understanding the reporter's perspective. Mm-hmm. For every company that wants to get their story out, there's a PR person, and that PR person is pitching that journalist, and that journalist knows hundreds of PR people, and even the ones they don't know are pitching them. So on any given day, a reporter is receiving hundreds of emails that they're not asking for. So you've got to cut through that noise. That's one of the first problems. So how do you do that? I think the first thing is, and whether you have a PR, whether you're working with a PR firm or not, one of the things is having a rock solid media list. Now, if you do have a PR firm, we've got a lot of tools. We work with products and platforms like Cision, like Muckrack, like Meltwater, and they're great for us to sort of hone in and find the right reporters who are covering that space. But if you're not paying $20,000 a year in media databases, what do you do?
And that's a great question. And I would say even as a PR company using those data-driven media list creation machines, we still have to check up on that because the media landscape by the day is changing. I think for, startups who maybe don't have the PR spend, or an entrepreneur, Twitter is an incredible resource. LinkedIn more nowadays, reporters are using it more. Searching Twitter for, say, a competitive company, or, if you're looking to get out with a funding announcement, search for funding news. See who's covering on Twitter, who's talking about it. That's a great place to start. And I'd even say, some reporters want to be contacted via Twitter as opposed to an email. So I think you can be very scrappy doing your own media lists. It's all about the research and recent coverage, recent topics that you're hoping to get out with. See who's covering that. See who's tweeting about that. Reference what they recently wrote. Reference a tweet they recently tweeted. Make them feel like you follow them and you get information from them. And I know a lot of times this is part 2, but always offer up just an intro. Hey, I'd love to intro you, right? And no expectation of coverage at this point, but I respect your work. I follow it. And I think what I have to offer could be relevant at some point.
I think one of the things I always call what we do and what smaller companies can do is it's actually professional stalking.
Totally.
If you want to reach out to a reporter who's covering your space, understand what they're writing about, understand what makes them tick, understand what they're passionate about. We know certain reporters, just by reading their work, what kind of stories they do. You'll notice trends. You'll notice that certain reporters, they might cover AI, but they only cover AI in how it relates to the automotive industry. So don't pitch them on your digital health AI initiative. Or if you're going to reach out to CNBC, they more often than not, they only cover listed companies. So if you're not listed, you have to find a way to get into that narrative, whether maybe you're helping a listed company do something that they haven't been able to do before. But make sure you understand what excites that reporter. Read what they write. Read what they tweet, read what they post on LinkedIn. They'll reveal a lot of information there. Laura, if you don't have the luxury of a Muckrack or a Cision, how do you find out how to reach these reporters?
A lot of that information is available if you just dig, right? I would say sometimes reporters, even put it in their Twitter profile, who are hungry for stories. A lot of times, if you find their original profile on the outlet they write for, like I know CNET is very good with this. If you go to the editor's profile, if you click on their name, a lot of times underneath they have a link to their Twitter, how you can reach me, like a little envelope for email, and their email address is right there. I will, after I've exhausted LinkedIn, Twitter, say they're not even in Cision, I will Google their name, the outlet, and the internet's a great place. a lot of information is stored there. It's like if you dig deep enough, you can kind of find contact information for anyone. It's a little scary, but it's true.
And sometimes you can actually guess. I mean, this is internet sleuthing 101. If reporter at Bloomberg, their first name and their last name, and you have another reporter from Bloomberg's email address, okay, you can sort of extrapolate. Okay, so it's first name dot last name at bloomberg.net.
100%. Yeah. Or like the first initial of the first name and the last name at XYZ. Yeah, it's about spending some time and being scrappy and savvy.
Yeah, and we're big believers in, and this is if there's one takeaway from today, I'd love for you to connect with reporters before you need them. It's common courtesy. No one likes to feel like they're being used or you're only reaching out because you need something from them. This is not a transactional relationship. You want to have this connection with a reporter for the long haul. Compliment them on stories. Don't go straight into your pitch. Ask them questions. Hey, love what you wrote. When do you think you're going to be covering the autonomous vehicles space next? Is there anything I can help you with? I'd like to introduce you. Saw you had a story. I have a friend I can connect you with on this. Don't make it about you to start.
Yes. Amen. And I feel like adding on to that tactic, simple emails just saying, complimenting a recent article and just saying, hey, would love to know what you're interested in these days in covering, what is beneficial to you. I want to come to you with what's most helpful. I did that the other day for TechCrunch, and the editor responded right away with such detailed feedback that was a gold mine of exactly what. And at the end, he said, by the way, thanks so much for asking what I was interested in. If more people could ask, maybe I'd get like 500 less pitches a day that had nothing to do with my coverage area. So yeah, treating reporters as, actual people that have an email inbox, being respectful of that, and truly wanting to forge a relationship that's beneficial to both. You have a story you want to tell. They also need resources. They need spokespeople. They need data. Find out what they need, what's helpful to them. In what capacity is it helpful? Hey, is, tagging you on LinkedIn or Twitter or, sending it as an attachment. How do you like to receive your information? All that information is so valuable. And then it goes to just forming that a relationship, which is at the crux of all great PR, right? Great relationships.
Laura, that's excellent advice and excellent insight. We're just scratching the surface here, but at the heart of it is, if I had to give you a couple of takeaways, treat reporters like people, make sure that you give them relevant information, make sure you're reaching the right people. And of course, if you don't be afraid to do it on your own, but if you don't have the time or you don't have the resources, we're here for you. Drop us an email at info@uprightcoms.com and we can answer any questions that you have. Laura, any parting shots before we go?
Don't think, that you need this massive media list. Sometimes the most fruitful PR campaigns and outreach is a very, very targeted list of extremely relevant reporters that you have done the research on, that they have like recently covered whatever topic you're reaching out about in the past couple weeks. That goes a very long way without needing massive databases to pull, hundreds of person lists together. Don't feel that is getting in the way between you and a great story.
Fantastic, Laura. And to all of you watching, thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.